Hello YouTube, my name is Big Boy Snatch on TV, aka Wakanda Snatch One, because I got plenty to go around. As you can tell by the title of the thumbnail of the video, this is my WWE Elimination Chamber review and highlights. So if you got some news to the channel, make sure you guys please watch the entire video from all the way from the beginning or towards the end. Get this video 29 likes in this video so it goes out to YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to my channel. Follow my social media down below in the description. Go check out my WWE SmackDown review and highlights. So without further ado, let's get started. I might as well say that WWE Elimination Chamber was a pretty good show, and I give it a 6 out of 10. Alright. It says, Elimination Chamber was live from Chicago, Illinois United Center. Commentary tonight with Michael Cole and Ray Barrett. Then Now Forever Together. The WWE video leads us into the show. The WWE drone flies us over Chicago, Illinois. The United Center is hosting a televised event for the first time in 32 years. Video package: CM Punk narrates a video talking about pressure in the road to WrestleMania 42. The Elimination Chamber doesn't rattle him. Whether it's on one-on-one or the outside or a battle on the inside. When everything goes quiet, everyone feels that way. Getting through it isn't a win. It's the price for chasing what matters most. So all this pressure feels like home. We go live into the United States Center to see a big protagonist display. Pre-show arrivals. Cody Rhodes is shown arriving at the United Center as is Randy Orton. Finn Balor is shown sitting in the arena earlier in the day. WWE Women's Intercontinental Champion Becky Lynch is here. World Heavyweight Champion CM Punk and AJ Lee arrived together. Ring announcer Mark Nash explains the rules of the Elimination Chamber. 2 superstars start in the ring with 4 contained in pods at equally timed intervals. A random pod door will open when a superstar is pinned or submits. That superstar must exit the chamber. The last one standing is the winner. WWE Women's Elimination Chamber. Jade Cargill is seated in a luxury box, waiting to see who she will be defending her title at WrestleMania 42, which is Rhea Ripley. Alright. So we get the first match, WWE Women's Elimination Chamber match. Alexa Bliss versus Asuka versus Raquel Rodriguez versus Rhea Ripley versus Kiana James versus Tiffany Stratton. This was a terrible elimination. This match right here, this was terrible. Terrible Women's Elimination Chamber match. This match went way too fast. But I'm glad that Rhea Ripley won. And no, we did not get Bianca Belair showing up at the chamber. We didn't get Bianca Belair. Anyway, the winner will face the WWE Women's Champion Jade Cargill for the title at WrestleMania 42. The bell rings and Tiffany Stratton and Kiana James lock up. They eventually match and push off. They do some standing switches before Tiffany Stratton hooks the head springboard off the ropes and hits a headlock takeover. It hooks the springboard goes off. It says the bell rings and Tiffany Stratton and Kiana James lock up. They eventually match and push off. They do some standing switches before Tiffany Stratton hooks the head springboard off the ropes and hits a headlock takeover. Tiffany Stratton kicks up to her feet and shouts that it's Tiffy time. They set up for a test of strength, but Kiana James kicks her and puts her in the corner for some shoulder thrusts. Kiana James does a handspring and hits another shoulder tackle. Kiana James hits the ropes and hits a boot to the head for a 1 count. Kiana James sends her into the ropes, but Tiffany Stratton holds on and drops her onto the middle rope. Tiffany Stratton avalanches her against the middle rope and hits a basement dropkick for a 2 count. Kiana James takes her down and hits a standing moonsault for a 2 count. Kiana James continues to take it to Tiffany Stratton and bounces her off the top turnbuckle. Kiana James kicks Tiffany Stratton in the midsection and sends her to the chamber floor. Tiffany Stratton avoids being sent into the wall and set up for a suplex on the floor. Kiana James fights it, but Tiffany Stratton hits her with the suplex on the floor. Kiana James runs in pain. Tiffany Stratton sets up for a handspring back elbow, but she hits Raquel Rodriguez power hard when Kiana James moves. Raquel Rodriguez crackles as Tiffany Stratton lies there in pain. The clock begins to count down. Oscar enters the match. As soon as Oscar door slides open, Kiana James attacks Oscar, bouncing her off the plexiglass. Tiffany Stratton attacks Kiana James, giving Oscar the opportunity to visually attack Kiana James. Oscar bounces her off Raquel Rodriguez's pod. Oscar then attacks Tiffany Stratton and smashes her several times off Alexa Bliss pod. Oscar hits Tiffany Stratton with a bulldog on the chamber floor, but while Kiana James with a clothesline, Oscar then pressed their face into the chamber wall before rolling them into the ring. Oscar goes to the top rope and hits a double missile dropkick. Oscar covers Kiana James for a 2 count. Oscar moves to Tiffany Stratton for another 2 count. Oscar goes out to Tiffany Stratton, but Tiffany Stratton fights her off. Tiffany Stratton puts Kiana James in the corner. Tiffany Stratton hits Oscar with a handspring back elbow before delivering one to Kiana James. Tiffany Stratton charged Oscar, but Oscar hits a knee to the face for a 2 count. The clock begins to count down. Alexa Bliss enters the match. Alexa Bliss comes in the match and takes Oscar down before hitting Kiana James with a drop kick. Alexa Bliss hits a head scissors takeover on Oscar before hitting Kiana James with a DDT. Tiffany Stratton gets in the ring and stares at Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss hits the ropes, but Tiffany Stratton catches her and hits a rolling senton. Tiffany Stratton goes for a prettiest moonsault ever, but Alexa Bliss puts her in the trio woe. Oscar attacks Tiffany Stratton before Alexa Bliss hits Tiffany Stratton with a dropkick. Alexa Bliss attacks Oscar and sets up for the Sister Abigail. Kiana James boots Oscar out of Alexa Bliss' hands. Tiffany Stratton takes Alexa Bliss down and covers, but Kiana James breaks up the pin. Kiana James takes Tiffany Stratton to the chamber floor and bounces her off the wall twice. Kiana James takes her down and hits a catapult into the pod plexiglass. The clock begins to count down. Rhea Ripley enters the match. This was my pick to win right here. Rhea Ripley takes Kiana James down before she can attack her. Rhea Ripley hits Oscar with some short arm clotheslines before slamming her on the face. Rhea Ripley headbutts Tiffany Stratton and gives her a wrestler's edge into Oscar. The crowd is loud for Rhea Ripley. Alexa Bliss goes for a satellite DDT on Rhea Ripley, but Rhea Ripley powers out. Alexa Bliss twists out and goes for Sister Abigail. Rhea Ripley gets out and sets up for the riptide, but Alexa Bliss slides out and goes to the chamber floor. Rhea Ripley attacks her and goes for a riptide on the floor, but Alexa Bliss grabs the chamber wall and starts to climb. Kiana James drives Rhea Ripley into the wall. Oscar missed a hip attack on Tiffany Stratton and Kiana James smiled her to the floor. Kiana James then pulls Tiffany Stratton to the floor. Alexa Bliss then comes off the top of the pod to hit them with a twisted bliss. Kiana James recovers to attack Alexa Bliss and bounces her off the wall. Kiana James gets her into the ring and hits the ropes, but Alexa Bliss grabs her and points at the WrestleMania for a 2 sign and goes for Sister Abigail before she can hit it. Oscar hits Alexa Bliss with green mist. Kiana James pins Alexa Bliss to eliminate her. Alexa Bliss has been eliminated from the match. The clock begins to count. Raquel Rodriguez enters the match. Tiffany Stratton goes for a hurricanrana on Raquel Rodriguez, but Raquel Rodriguez slams her into the chamber wall. Raquel Rodriguez takes Kiana James down and hits Rhea Ripley with an alley-oop into the top rope. Oscar, Tiffany Stratton, and Kiana James triple team her, but Raquel Rodriguez powers out. Raquel Rodriguez big boots Raquel Rodriguez to the floor. Raquel Rodriguez grabs Rhea Ripley and slams her into the wall twice. Oscar and Kiana James meet the same fate. Rhea Ripley forms Raquel Rodriguez and goes for a hurricanrana, but Raquel Rodriguez powers her up and powerbombs her against the wall before hitting a powerbomb back into the ring. Okay, Raquel Rodriguez long darts Tiffany Stratton into the wall. Oscar hits Raquel Rodriguez with a strike combo before kicking away at her. Raquel Rodriguez blocks a kick and hits a fallaway slam. into the ring. Kiana James drives Raquel Rodriguez into the wall and traps her in a pod for a moment. Raquel Rodriguez fights out and hits Kiana James with a running power slam through the plexiglass. Raquel Rodriguez gets Kiana James in the ring and blocks a kick from Asuka. Raquel Rodriguez hits Asuka with a Tahana bomb onto Kiana James and eliminates them both. Kiana James has been eliminated from the match. Asuka has been eliminated from the match. Rhea Ripley and Tiffany Stratton approaches each other. They start exchanging strikes. Rhea Ripley kicks Raquel Rodriguez away. Tiffany Stratton then hits them both with a handspring double stunner. Tiffany Stratton tries to lift Raquel Rodriguez, but Raquel Rodriguez elbows out. Raquel Rodriguez hits Tiffany Stratton with a spinning power slam for a 2 count. Rhea Ripley pulls Raquel Rodriguez out of the ring and drives her into the chamber wall. Raquel Rodriguez sends her into the wall and traps her legs in a chain link, putting her in the trio woe. Tiffany Stratton climbs the wall and flies off of a hurricanrana on Raquel Rodriguez, but Raquel Rodriguez powers her up and Tiffany Stratton hits a hurricanrana over the top rope. But Raquel Rodriguez quickly fights back. Raquel Rodriguez elbows away at her and hits a follow-away slam. Raquel Rodriguez hits a slingshot corkscrew elbow on Tiffany Stratton before going for a Tahana bomb. Tiffany Stratton gets out. Raquel Rodriguez avalanches her. Raquel Rodriguez sets her up on the top rope, but she sees Rhea Ripley standing on the roof of a pod. Rhea Ripley hits Raquel Rodriguez with a cannonball. Tiffany Stratton hits Rodriguez with the prettiest moonsault ever for the elimination. The crowd boos. Raquel Rodriguez has been eliminated from the match. WWE Women's Champion Jade Cargill looks on. She'll either face Tiffany Stratton or Rhea Ripley with the title on the line at WrestleMania 42. They exchange some strikes before Rhea Ripley clotheslines her down. Rhea Ripley sets up for the Razor's Edge, but Tiffany Stratton gets out. Tiffany Stratton does a cartwheel into an Alabama slam for a near fall. Tiffany Stratton sets up for a swanton bomb, but Rhea Ripley moves and kicks her in the face. Rhea Ripley gets her in the electric chair and drops her on face for a near fall. Rhea Ripley gets up and sets up for a riptide, but Tiffany Stratton slides off. Tiffany Stratton sidesteps her and Rhea Ripley drives her shoulder into the ring post. Tiffany Stratton hits a swanton bomb for a near fall. Tiffany Stratton hits Rhea Ripley with a rolling senton and goes for a prettiest moonsault ever, but Rhea Ripley shoves her into the pod wall. Rhea Ripley pulls her into the ring and hits the riptide for the win. The winner by pinfall, Rhea Ripley. This match itself was just terrible, but I'm glad Rhea Ripley won. This was a god-awful match, but I'm glad Rhea Ripley won. Rhea Ripley will face Jade Cargill for the WWE Women's Champion at WrestleMania 42. Sign me up to see that match. Rhea Ripley celebrates in the ring as fireworks goes off. Jade Cargill stands up in the electric box and holds up her WWE Championship. But I believe that Jade Cargill is going to retain her WWE Women's Championship until Bianca Belair comes back. But what if Rhea Ripley does beat Jade Cargill? She will shock the world, but I could be wrong. But it is what it is. All right. Backstage segment. Trick Williams is shown warming up. Elsewhere, we see LA Knight. We also see Joanne Edwards warming up. Coming up next, the WWE Women's Intercontinental Champion will be on the line. ESPN app and break. Video package. WWE Women's Intercontinental Champion. Alright, so we get the second match. So we get the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship match. Becky Lynch versus AJ Lee. This was a good match too, but I'm glad AJ Lee won and I called it straight down the middle. The bell rings and they lock up. Becky Lynch powers her to the corner and shows her up. Becky Lynch soon hooks a side headlock. AJ Lee whips her off, but Becky Lynch runs her over with a shoulder tackle. Becky Lynch flexes and taunts the crowd before smirking at AJ Lee. Becky Lynch grabs her wrist and spins around her before applying a side headlock. AJ Lee whips her off, but Becky Lynch cartwheels her over. AJ Lee takes her down and covers for a 1 count. AJ Lee rolls her up for another 1 count. Becky Lynch goes to attack the arm, but AJ Lee gets away and pushes her off. Becky Lynch is not happy. AJ Lee is looking a little winded. AJ Lee grabs the arm and hits a heel kick. AJ Lee applies a hammerlock and does a bridge, but Becky Lynch fights out. Becky Lynch applies a hammerlock, but AJ Lee charges and turns Becky Lynch out of the ring. Becky Lynch fiercely shakes the barricade as AJ Lee skips around the ring. Becky Lynch angrily gets in the ring and gets AJ Lee in the electric chair as she attempts a slingshot. AJ Lee gets out and hits a headlock takeover. AJ Lee hits the ropes, but Becky Lynch big boots her down. Becky Lynch punches away at AJ Lee. Becky Lynch puts AJ Lee in the corner and stomps her down. Becky Lynch taunts the crowd and points at AJ Lee. The Chicago crowd loudly boos Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch grabs AJ Lee and slams her down for a 2 count. Becky Lynch takes it to AJ Lee with strikes before slinging her into the corner. Becky Lynch avalanches her and kicks her down before hitting a back exploder. 1-2, AJ Lee kicks out. Becky Lynch pie face her a few times before AJ Lee punches back. Becky Lynch cuts her off, but AJ Lee fights back. They trade punches with AJ Lee coming out on top of the exchange. Becky Lynch quickly kicks her and hits the ropes. AJ Lee follows her and hits a bulldog. They slowly get up and AJ Lee hits a pair of clotheslines. Becky Lynch sidesteps and avalanches and goes for a springboard kick, but AJ Lee blocks it. AJ Lee comes off the second rope with a tornado DDT, followed by a Shining Wizard 1-2 Becky Lynch kick out. Becky Lynch gets up and sets up for a manhandle slam. AJ Lee counters with a roll up for a 2 count. Becky Lynch rolls her up for a 2 count. AJ Lee goes for a Black Widow, but Becky Lynch hits a reverse DDT for a near fall. Becky Lynch smiles AJ Lee face off the canvas a few times before removing the top turnbuckle pad. The referee was checking on AJ Lee while Becky Lynch took the pad off. Becky Lynch tries to drive AJ Lee into the turnbuckles, but AJ Lee blocks it. AJ Lee kicks her in the face and sweeps her feet. AJ Lee takes her down. Becky Lynch hits a suplex before transitioning into a cross armbar. AJ Lee fights out with the roll up for a 2 count. AJ Lee kicks Becky Lynch in the face and picks up a 2 count. Referee Jessica Carl Referee Jessica Kerr goes to put the turnbuckle pad back on, so Becky Lynch shoves AJ Lee into her. Becky Lynch rolls her up as Jessica Kerr counts 2. AJ Lee ducks a kick, and Becky Lynch hits Jessica Kerr in the head. AJ Lee applies a black will, and Becky Lynch taps out, but the referee is down. AJ Lee checks on the referee, so Becky Lynch takes her down. Becky Lynch takes AJ Lee to the ringside and drives her into the barricade several times. Becky Lynch goes under the ring and grabs a steel book. AJ Lee attacks and drives her into the turnbuckles. AJ Lee bounces her off the ring apron before sending her back into the barricade. AJ Lee gets Becky Lynch in the ring and elbows her back. AJ Lee goes for a tornado DDT, but Becky Lynch slams her down. AJ Lee leg lands hard on the steel chair. Becky Lynch hits Dragon Lee. Not Dragon Lee. I'll say Dragon Lee. Becky Lynch hits AJ Lee with a DDT on the chair and revives the referee. Becky Lynch hits a manhandle slam and covers 1-2. AJ Lee kicks out. Becky Lynch fiercely grabs AJ Lee and tries to drive her into the exposed turnbuckle, but Jessica Curl stops her. Becky Lynch is irate. AJ Lee rolls her up for a near fall. Becky Lynch sets up for a manhandle slam, but Becky Lynch pushes her off. AJ Lee sidesteps and avalanches, and Becky Lynch hits an exploder turnbuckle. AJ Lee applies the Black Widow, and Becky Lynch taps out. The winner of the match and your new WWE Women's Intercontinental Champion, AJ Lee. I'm glad that AJ Lee took the title for Becky Lynch, and I was right about this one. So, all you AJ Lee haters, keep that same energy. This is your WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship, and they're gonna run this back at WrestleMania. All right, and irritated AJ Lee with a busted lip happily take her WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship, her first title in 11 years. This is her first title in 11 years, ever since she came back. So I'm happy for AJ Lee for beating Becky Lynch for the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship. This is well deserved by AJ Lee, and I'm glad AJ Lee got her moment. And that's all I gotta say. Backstage segment. Raw General Manager and Out appears, and SmackDown General Manager and Nick Aldis are in front of the mystery crate. R-Truth comes over with a Papa John's pizza. R-Truth had a slice and decided not to share. Alright. The World Heavyweight Championship will be on the line next. Commercial break. WWE upgrades a member of the Armed Focus to a ringside seat. Finn Balor comes out to his old theme song and gets the crowd going. Cyrus by the Allen Person Project plays. World Heavyweight Champion CM Punk is shown backstage coming out of his dressing room. CM Punk walks to the entrance arena and looks pumped up. I like that right there. That they play Cyrus by the Allen Person Project. That was a big moment right there. I love that. Alright. Cult of Personality by Living Color starts to play, and CM Punk walks out into the United Center in front of his hometown crowd. The crowd loudly sings his song and gives the hometown boy a fantastic ovation. So we get the next match right here. So we get the World Heavyweight Champion match. Finn Balor versus CM Punk. This was a very good match right here. The bell rings and the crowd is buzzing. A CM Punk chant fires up. They circle the ring and lock up. CM Punk wrenches the arm, but Finn Balor twists out and wrenches CM Punk's arm. CM Punk transitions into a hammerlock, but Finn Balor turns it on him. CM Punk fights back with a full Nelson, but Finn Balor counters with one. CM Punk drops down and rolls him up for a 2 count. CM Punk applies a side headlock, but Finn Balor wipes him off and hits a back elbow for a 1 count. Finn Balor hits a headlock takeover and gets CM Punk's shoulders down for 1. Finn Balor keeps CM Punk grounded. CM Punk rolls him onto his shoulders twice, but he can't pick up a pin. CM Punk fights to his feet and whips Finn Balor off. CM Punk drops down before hitting a calf kick for a 2 count. CM Punk connects with a scoop slam before hitting a snapmare, CM Punk chops the back and kicks him in the chest. CM Punk hits a knee drop for a 1 count. CM Punk sets up for a vertical suplex, but Finn Balor fights out. They start exchanging aggressive strikes. CM Punk sends him to the corner and chops his chest. Finn Balor spins CM Punk around and chops him. CM Punk turns Finn Balor and chops him. CM Punk kicks and elbows Finn Balor before climbing to the second rope for the traditional 10 punches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Finn Balor slides out and sweeps CM Punk's feet. Finn Balor sends him into the ropes for a kitchen sink knee to the midsection. Finn Balor hits some springboard stomps to the midsection before tying him up in the ropes and punches the injured ribs. Finn Balor boots CM Punk in the ribs, and CM Punk collapses in the corner. CM Punk shoulders CM Punk in the corner and chops his chest. Again, Finn Balor hits a running chop and punches him. CM Punk reverses a whip to the corner and hits a high knee to the face. Finn Balor avoids a bulldog and applies an ambitional stretch. Finn Balor digs into the injured ribs. Finn Balor managed to fight out and tries to stomp the midsection. Finn Balor pushes him off and they take each other out with a double clothesline. They get up and begin exchanging strikes. CM Punk hits a back elbow followed by a clothesline. CM Punk hits a high knee to the face and follows up with a bulldog. CM Punk sets up for the go to sleep, but Finn Balor slides off. Finn Balor charged, but CM Punk sends him into the floor. CM Punk then hits a suicide dive that drives Finn Balor into the commentary table. CM Punk sends Finn Balor into the ring and goes to the top rope. CM Punk connects with a diamond clothesline for a near fall. CM Punk signals for the end and lifts him up as GTS, but Finn Balor slides off and hits a falling elbow drop for a 2 count. Finn Balor punches away at CM Punk midsection and stomps him down in the corner. CM Punk reverses a whip and counters a slingshot with a GTS attempt. Finn Balor blocks it and cradles him for a 2 count. CM Punk hits a swinging net breaker for another 2 count. CM Punk takes Finn Balor down and set up for a sharpshooter, but Finn Balor kicks him back. CM Punk attempts a suplex, but Finn Balor fights it. CM Punk puts Finn Balor on the top rope and climbs, but Finn Balor punches him down to the canvas. CM Punk avoids the coup de grace and takes him down. CM Punk is bleeding from his mouth. CM Punk heads to the top rope and poses before hitting a flying elbow drop. CM Punk holds his injured ribs in pain in corner 1-2. Finn Balor turns him over and picks up a 2 count. Finn Balor quickly follows up with a sling blade and heads to the corner to size him up. Finn Balor charges for a shotgun dropkick, but CM Punk clotheslines him down. CM Punk sets up for a sharpshooter, but Finn Balor blocks it. CM Punk drops down and applies it in a counter vice. Finn Balor refused to tap out and twisted out to apply la Maestro for a 2 count. Finn Balor immediately starts the elbow away at the injured ribs. Finn Balor hits the 1916 and goes to the top rope. Finn Balor hits the coup de grace 1-2. CM Punk kicks out. Alright, CM Punk chant picks up. Finn Balor looks towards the entrance arena before setting up for a 1916. CM Punk twists out and hits a GTS. The momentum of the impact knocks Finn Balor out of the ring. CM Punk goes to the ringside area and charge, but Finn Balor hits a sling blade on the floor. Finn Balor then drives CM Punk through the barricade with a shotgun drop kick. Finn Balor looks at the World Heavyweight Championship on the pedestal before putting CM Punk in the ring. Finn Balor gets in the ring, and CM Punk goes for the GTS. Finn Balor slides off and hits a sling blade. Finn Balor hits a shotgun drop kick into the corner and goes to the top rope. Finn Balor goes for the coup de grace, but CM Punk puts his boot up and applies a sharpshooter in the middle of the ring. Finn Balor managed to grab the bottom rope to break the hold. CM Punk sets up for another sharpshooter, but Finn Balor fights it. CM Punk stumps his face a few times and pulls him up. CM Punk continues to boo him in the face. The crowd chants, "This is awesome." CM Punk looks exhausted as he pulls Finn Balor onto his shoulders. CM Punk with the GTS 1, 2, 3. The winner by pinfall is still your World Heavyweight Champion, CM Punk, and I called it straight down the middle. That CM Punk was going to retain. But this was a good match too. Okay. Alright, let's move on. So let's move on to the next match. Yeah. Let's move on to the next match. All right, CM Punk celebrates with a Chicago crowd. He is officially going to WrestleMania 42 to defend the World Heavyweight Championship against Roman Reigns, which is Roman Reigns will be CM Punk at WrestleMania 42 in night 2. But CM Punk calls Roman Rusty Reigns. That was petty. That was petty by CM Punk. That CM Punk called Roman Rusty Reigns. That was petty. All right. It says Finn Balor turns CM Punk around aggressively and extends his hand. CM Punk looks suspicious before shaking Finn Balor's hand. CM Punk says something to him, and Finn Balor leaves the ring. All right. So we get the WWE Women's Intercontinental Champion AJ Lee runs down to celebrate with her husband CM Punk. She checks on his busted lip, and they embrace. CM Punk looks thrilled to see his wife. They stand tall in the ring. The WWE newest power couple. CM Punk retains the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and I was right. This is my prediction that CM Punk was going to retain. I was right. All right. Even though no one in their right mind believed Finn Balor had any chance to win this match, he still put off a great professional wrestling match, which is I agree. It was like that time they had Rhea Ripley defend the title in Perth before WrestleMania. No one thought she was losing there. All right, let's move on. UFC lightweight fighter Michael Chandler is at ringside. Giannis Antetokounmpo of the NBA is seated at ringside. Lil Yachty is also there. Replay highlights from the Women's Elimination Chamber from earlier in the ring and earlier in the night are shown. The commentators discussed the 2 WrestleMania matches scheduled for tonight: the World Heavyweight Champion and the WWE Women's Championship. Ring announcer Mark Nash says the WWE has set an attendance record at the United Center, 19,346. All of a sudden, the lights go out. Raw General Manager Adam Pearce and SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis open the mystery crate. Inside is a coffin. The casket opens. We hear you are cursed. Some dancing 1960s style vampire girls come out and dance as Danhausen makes his debut. Danhausen goes to the ringside and gives Michael Cole a jar of teeth. Danhausen gets in the ring, and as girls continue to dance, a fireball goes off and the lights goes out. When they come back on, Danhausen and the vampire girls are gone. The only thing I dislike about the Elimination Chamber was Danhausen. So you mean to tell me that we was hyped for 2 weeks about Danhausen to make his debut on the Elimination Chamber? Remember, Danhausen and Hook was a tag team in AEW. So put Danhausen on NXT to get him something to do. And that's all I gotta say. But I do dislike the only thing that I dislike about the Elimination Chamber is Danhausen. And that's all I gotta say. The mystery box should have been Chris Jericho. And that's all I gotta say, but that didn't happen. It turns out to be Danhausen. But it is what it is. I feel bad for Danhausen. He was kind of a meme type guy who overstyled his welcome a few years ago. People also worked themselves into believing there was someone bigger in the box, but it was. This I can't imagine what they plan on doing with him other than an R-Truth type. And then on top of that, Danhausen has his own fan base. And that's all I gotta say from here. Danhausen has his own fan base. But I dislike this. The only thing I dislike about the Elimination Chamber was Danhausen. And that's all I gotta say. The main event is next. Commercial break. Another member of the armed force is featured. So we get the main event of the evening. The men's Elimination Chamber match. Trick Williams versus LA Knight versus the Maverick Logan Paul accompanied by Paul Heyman, Austin Theory versus Randy Orton versus Giovanni Evans versus the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes. Now this match right here, this was way better than a women's elimination. This match right here was way better than a women's elimination chamber match, and that's all I gotta say. It's Cody Rhodes starting against Giovanni Evans. They lock up and Cody Rhodes soon drops down to hit an uppercut. Cody Rhodes hits a delayed vertical front suplex for a 2 count. Cody Rhodes stomps him, but Giovanni Evans rolls him up for a 2 count. Cody Rhodes attacks Giovanni Evans and tries to whip him, but Giovanni Evans puts the brakes on. Giovanni Evans backflips away for him and hits a hurricanrana. Giovanni Evans bounces off the ropes and hits another hurricanrana. Giovanni Evans follows up with a bazooka knee for a 2 count. They go to the chamber floor and Cody Rhodes attacks him and sends him into Logan Paul's pod. Cody Rhodes puts Giovanni Evans in the ring and stomps him. Cody Rhodes takes him down with an elbow for a 2 count. Cody Rhodes sets up for a vertical suplex, but Giovanni Evans knees him in the head. Giovanni Evans hits a vertical suplex and bounces up to his feet. Cody Rhodes fights back as the clock runs down. Okay, Trick Williams enters the match. Trick Williams takes Cody Rhodes down and gets in the ring to square off with Giovanni Evans. The two former NXT standouts go at it and are evenly matched. Giovanni Evans kicks Trick Williams down and goes for the OG cutter, but Trick Williams powers him up. Giovanni Evans punches Cody Rhodes down and turns into a nasty chop from Trick Williams. Cody Rhodes enters the ring and hits Trick Williams with a Russian leg sweep for a 2 count. Cody Rhodes punches and elbows Giovanni Evans down. Trick Williams hits Cody Rhodes with a cyclone boot, and the crowd begins to chanting for him. Trick Williams grabs Cody Rhodes and Giovanni Evans go for a double bookend to pick up a 2 count. Trick Williams sends Giovanni Evans to the chamber floor and chops him against the wall. Cody Rhodes comes over, but is taken down. Giovanni Evans winds up being the last one standing after chopping Trick Williams down. The clock counts down. Logan Paul enters the match. The crowd loudly boos Logan Paul and then cheers loudly when Giovanni Evans, Cody Rhodes, and Trick Williams triple team him. Cody Rhodes and Trick Williams take Logan Paul to the floor and drives him through his pod plexiglass. Giovanni Evans wipes Cody Rhodes and Trick Williams out with a dive over the top rope. Giovanni Evans hits a springboard tornado kick to Trick Williams for a near fall. Cody Rhodes attacks Trick Williams and sends him out of the ring. Cody Rhodes puts Giovanni Evans in the corner and punches away the young OG. Giovanni Evans fights back and sends him into the ropes. Cody Rhodes holds on and gives Giovanni Evans a back body drop to the chamber floor. Logan Paul then wipes Cody Rhodes out with a buckshot lariat. Logan Paul goes around the chamber attacking everyone. Logan Paul gets in the ring, and Cody Rhodes starts to pepper him with stinging left jabs. Cody Rhodes sets up for a bionic elbow, but Logan Paul takes him down. The clock begins to count down. Okay, LA Knight enters the match. WWE is doing LA Knight dirty, and that's all I gotta say. LA Knight attacks Logan Paul and takes him down. LA Knight clotheslines Cody Rhodes down and hits Trick Williams with a neckbreaker. LA Knight sends Logan Paul into the chamber wall and sends him into some of the pods. Logan Paul hits a nasty welt on his back and shoulders. Logan Paul managed to pull LA Knight into the pod and starts to climb the wall. Logan Paul is on top of the pod and turns to see Giovanni Evans climbing onto the same pod. LA Knight climbs up and joins them on the top of the pod. Giovanni Evans and LA Knight double team Logan Paul and sends him up into Cody Rhodes, and Trick Williams is in the ring. LA Knight and Giovanni Evans begin to brawl, and LA Knight gives him blunt force trauma onto the steel roof of the pod. The clock begins to count down. Randy Orton enters the match. This is Randy Orton's 10th Elimination Chamber match. Randy Orton clotheslines Trick Williams twice before giving Logan Paul one. Randy Orton does a clothesline from Trick Williams and hits a snap power slam. Logan Paul meets the same fate. Randy Orton clotheslines Trick Williams over the top rope and gives Logan Paul a back body drop onto Trick Williams. Randy Orton then grabs Logan Paul and Trick Williams for a double draping DDT. The crowd is chanting RKO. So Randy Orton drops down and stalks his prey. LA Knight turns Randy Orton around and pushes off an RKO. Randy Orton drops LA Knight with the DDT. Giovanni Owens is still on the top of the pod and begin to come to after taking the BFT moments ago. Giovanni Owens stand up and slaps the plexiglass. Giovanni Owens hits Trick Williams with a huge frog splash off the top of the pod. But Logan Paul immediately grabs Giovanni Owens and hits a scary pulverizer for the elimination. Giovanni Owens has been eliminated from the match. So Logan Paul eliminates Giovanni Owens, so he got Giovanni Owens out the way. Cody Rhodes attacks Logan Paul, punching him in the corner. Cody Rhodes kicks Logan Paul and goes for a disaster kick, but LA Knight picks him off the ropes and hits a Death Valley driver. LA Knight covers, but the referee won't count since Cody Rhodes' shoulders aren't flat on the mat. 1-2, Cody Rhodes kicks out. Randy Orton attacks LA Knight and punches him down. Randy Orton tells him something as he sends him to the corner. LA Knight boots Randy Orton back, and Randy Orton takes a flat back bump. LA Knight goes to the second rope, does some thread tricks, and totally trips, attempting a springboard to the top rope. LA Knight stomps Randy Orton to try to save the spot. Trick Williams runs in, so LA Knight hits a BFT. Logan Paul low blows LA Knight and rolls him up for the elimination. LA Knight has been eliminated from the match. So Logan Paul got Giovanni Owens out the way and LA Knight out the way and Trick Williams out the way. Logan Paul, Heyman, and Austin Theory are pleased at ringside. Logan Paul chokes Cody Rhodes on the middle rope and goes after Randy Orton. Randy Orton knocks him down. Logan Paul kicks Randy Orton against the wall and gets in the ring to tee off on Trick Williams. Trick Williams slaps him and hits a side kick to the jaw. Trick Williams goes for a trick shot, but Logan Paul avoids it. Trick Williams gets out of the pulverizer, and Cody Rhodes catches Trick Williams with the crossroads. Logan Paul sends Cody Rhodes' shoulder into the ring post and covers Trick Williams for the elimination. Trick Williams has been eliminated from the match. So Giovanni Owens has been eliminated by Logan Paul. LA Knight has been eliminated by Logan Paul, and Trick Williams has been eliminated by Logan Paul. Alright, the referees get in the ring to help Trick Williams out. A masked man runs in and starts to climb the Elimination Chamber, but the referee pulls him down and brings him to the back. They take off his mask, and it's a different guy, that the one who was on SmackDown. Another masked man enters the chamber and stares down Logan Paul. The masked man kicks Logan Paul and delivers a stomp. Cody Rhodes covers Logan Paul for the elimination. Logan Paul has been eliminated from the match. Thank God. And this was my favorite part of the night. This was the highlight of the night right here. The masked man takes his mask off, and it's Seth Rollins. And I've been saying this for a long time. I miss Seth Rollins. The crowd is stunned. Paul Heyman screams in honor. Seth Rollins coldly stared at Logan Paul before leaving through the crowd. Michael Cole says, "This is the surprise of the century." Okay. The look on Paul Heyman's face was shocking and priceless, and can't believe it at the same time. Oh man, it was so good to see Seth Rollins back. Alright, it's down to Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. All of a sudden, Drew McIntyre hits Cody Rhodes in the head with the undisputed WWE champion. Cody Rhodes avoids a Claymore, but Drew McIntyre fights back with a Glasgow kiss. Drew McIntyre punches away at Cody Rhodes before Randy Orton turns him around and hits an RKO. Cody Rhodes follows up with the crossroads on Drew McIntyre, and Randy Orton then drops Cody Rhodes with the RKO for the win. The winner by pinfall, Randy Orton. Do you remember when Cody Rhodes beat Randy? Do you remember when Cody Rhodes beat Randy Orton at King of the Ring? I remember that, but Randy Orton beat Cody Rhodes at the Elimination Chamber. So Randy Orton got his win back. And that's all I gotta say. This Elimination Chamber match was way better than the Women's Elimination Chamber match. Alright. The Viper Randy Orton is going to WrestleMania 42 against Drew McIntyre for the undisputed WWE Championship. Randy Orton pulls on the turnbuckle and points at the WrestleMania 42 sign as the fireworks goes off. Randy Orton then looks sadly at Cody Rhodes, who looks devastated that his road to WrestleMania 42 has hit a major roadblock. And WWE Elimination Chamber goes off the air. But like I said, let me read you guys the quick results. Rhea Ripley defeated Alexa Bliss, Kiana James, Asuka, Raquel Rodriguez, and Tiffany Stratton in the Women's Elimination Chamber match, which is Rhea Ripley was my pick, by the way. So I got that one right. Then AJ Lee defeated Becky Lynch in a submission to win the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship within 11 years. This is also my second pick. I pick AJ Lee to win. So all you AJ Lee haters, keep that same energy. And CM Punk defeated Finn Balor to retain the World Heavyweight Championship. This was my favorite pick to win too. I picked CM Punk to retain the World Heavyweight Championship, which I was right. But this is the one I got wrong. Randy Orton defeated Javon Evans, LA Knight, Trick Williams, the Maverick, Logan Paul, and the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, in the Men's Elimination Chamber match. I got that one wrong. And that's all I got to say from here. And WWE Elimination Chamber goes off the air. Alright, let me give my opinion what I think about WWE Elimination Chamber. Now, WWE Elimination Chamber was a pretty good show to me, and I give this show a 6. I give the show a 6 out of 10. But Nick Aldis had made the announcement that since Cody Rhodes lost at the Elimination Chamber, Cody Rhodes is going to face Drew McIntyre for the undisputed WWE Championship on SmackDown. Why not make this a true threat match between Drew McIntyre, Cody Rhodes, and Jacob Fatu? And that's all I gotta say. That's easy, simple booking. But Drew McIntyre, you played yourself once again. Nick Aldis told you to go home and stay out of people's business. But Drew McIntyre did not listen. And that's all I gotta say from here. But the one thing I dislike about the Elimination Chamber was Danhausen, and that's all I gotta say from there. But everything else was just cool. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed my WWE Elimination Chamber review and highlights, make sure you guys give this video 30 likes. Full watch the entire video from all the way from the beginning to the end. Follow all my social media down below in the description. And thank you guys so much for coming out to my live stream for my live stream on Twitch when I was playing Mortal Kombat. And that's all I gotta say from here. But anyway, I will see you guys tonight for my upcoming world premiere for my WWE Elimination Chamber review and highlights. This your boy, Big Boy Snatch Shine TV, aka Wakanda Snatch One, because I got plenty to go around. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, subscribe. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and tell your friends I'm on the road to 12K subscribers before April. So I want you guys to have a great night. Stay safe and always stay positive. Kept your crew, kept your kings, kept your club. Too sweet. I'm out of here. Gang. Mwah. Bang. Too sweet. Gang. Guns up. Too sweet. Gang.